Okay.
One thing you wanted to take off your necklace.
Okay.
Because it's going to be... Ding-a-ling-a-ling-a-ling-a-ling. That's how we should begin this.
That's it. That's the intro. Here we are. We're doing it.
We're here.
We're here.
We're doing it.
Do you feel weird at that height?
Not really. Not if you don't.
I don't feel weird. I don't know how else we would do this.
I think this is good. It sounds really good.
It does sound good.
I'm happy with it.
Your voice is very, I've always just thought it to be very comforting because it's a slow pace. It's kind of like how Barack Obama has a great speaking voice.
Yeah.
I feel like you have a Barack Obama vibe. I'm being serious.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
He was pretty awesome.
He
is pretty awesome.
Yeah. He's not. Rest in peace.
Not yet. Okay. Well, welcome.
Welcome.
To
As Woo Woo.
As You Want.
With Jeremiah.
And Celine.
And here we are.
So maybe we should let our listeners know a little bit about what this is, what we're doing, who we are.
Yes. I think that's a good start.
Yeah.
So I think the main premise is two pals talking about spiritual stuff in Brooklyn. I mean, I think we want to talk about different spiritual teachers, ideas, astrology, the occult, meditation.
Woo-woo shit.
Yeah. And just kind of see.
And I have to say up front, there will be profanity in this program.
That is true.
I'm not going to censor myself.
No, I don't think we should.
Yeah. Okay.
That is sort of that our goal is, don't you think?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. I kind of want to say I wish I knew more, which I guess that's the point of the podcast, right?
Yeah.
To just dip your toe.
Dip our toes in.
Everything.
And learn.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And have guests.
Yeah.
It's
going to be good.
It's going to be good.
All right. So this first episode, we are going to introduce ourselves because, I'm sure there will be friends and family listening to this who know who we are. But for those of you who don't know who we are, you have no idea who we are. So we have to introduce ourselves to you and give you a little bit of background about how we came to being interested in all things woo-woo.
Yeah.
So you want me to go first?
I kind of do.
Yeah, okay.
I feel like it's a good guide. Or do you want me to go first?
No.
You can go first.
I can go first.
You go first. Go on.
So, my name's Jeremiah. I honestly, I'm going to start this off. I've been wanting to say this. I've been thinking about this podcast for a while now, and I didn't know how to go about it, and I just knew I needed a venue for talking and exploring and learning about woo-woo spiritual things. And a few weeks ago, I was just like, I need Celine on this podcast. It's going to make this podcast.
It was probably after the talk at the bake shop.
Yeah. I think that was it. Yeah.
I was psyched. I didn't really know what any of it was going to be like, but I was like, sure, I'm super down to talk about all this stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah. I feel like I'm trying too hard right now.
Really?
Yeah.
I think, well, there's a certain amount of pressure when you're doing it.
You know what it is? This is great. We're just jumping in. It's one of those things where when you get into an argument with someone and you're you walk away and you're like, oh, I didn't say this, I didn't say this, I didn't say this. And then you think about it.
Constantly.
And you're like, next time I talk to this person, I'm going to say this and say that and say this. And then you get up to that person and it's like, you can say those things or you just totally blank out, which I think a lot of people do.
Yeah.
And that's what's happening to me right now, where it's like I can do the scripted thing, but it doesn't feel right, so I'm not going to do it.
I think that makes me feel less pressure, too.
Yeah. Okay, cool.
Well, I mean, there is something about sitting in front of someone who has headphones and a microphone, and we are, you know, taking on this task to talk about, like, woo-woo stuff and, like, kind of, like, hold a beacon of light on a subject that, like, I think we're both still, like, exploring.
Yeah.
Maybe that's why my palms are a little sweaty.
I know. I feel like we're
trying to take on something that is super unknown.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And isn't that life?
Yeah. I mean, I think that our intentions are in the good place. But how do you structure something that is, like, very unknown, you know?
That's a good point.
Right?
Okay, let's go back to introductions.
Sure.
So,
do you want me to start?
No.
Okay.
I got it. So my name is Jeremiah, and I have been into woo-woo stuff, I think, longer than I realized. And I didn't realize how, like, obsessed I am with existence.
Obsessed with existence?
Yeah. Like, at a very young age, I always knew I was, like, alive.
Well, your dad is
gonna
also a rabbi.
die. Yeah.
So that's something. That's, you know.
Yeah. So a little bit about a little bit about me. My dad's a rabbi, and I love him dearly. And my mother's a social worker. My sister is a social worker. My dad actually also has an MSW degree. So I grew up in a social work family.
I didn't know that.
Your typical East Coast New York Jew, analytical,
Super self-conscious,
analyzing everything.
I mean,
Family.
me too. But in a different context.
Yeah.
I think being a Capricorn, I'm just saying that, I don't care. Just being a triple Capricorn, I'm basically born a small professor, and as I age, I'm more fun. Super serious kid. Thought about, like, what is all this? What are we doing here?
What are we doing here?
Yeah. From a tiny age. And it seems like you did too.
Yeah.
So, anyway, keep going. And then what happened?
Oh, geez. Yeah. So I, grew up in New York and New Jersey, and was really into philosophy. I obviously was raised religiously. I went to synagogue every week. Was conservative, for the Jews out there. I was raised conservative, so liberal, but not too liberal. Interject.
Yeah. Didn't you not have a hamburger until you were in your, 30s?
I had kosher hamburgers. I did not break my kashrut.
Serious.
Until my late 20s, and it was a very slow process.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I was always raised with, like, a religious, spiritual background, but I always ironically felt, and I love Judaism, I think it's a beautiful tradition, but I always also felt it was constricting.
Well, most religions, I feel like, have that constriction, which I think a lot of people like. It sets guidelines.
It's safe.
It's safe, but it's also, like, tells you, here's what you do, here's what you don't do. This is the structure. This is what happens when you die or when you don't die. And I think it's a good thing.
Yeah.
I think, but woo-woo is kind of beyond that. Well, though I guess there was, like, esoteric Christianity? No. Yes?
Yeah.
Yeah. And, like, Judaism, right?
For sure.
Hindu is pretty esoteric, I guess. I mean, reincarnation, past lives.
Where was I?
The hamburgers.
The hamburger.
No, you were talking about how you were like,
Yeah.
religion.
You know what it is? Again, it's like, I feel like I've been thinking about doing this so much that now that we're doing it, I'm like not flowing because I'm just thinking about what I was going to say.
Let's just be no pressure, right?
Yeah.
Maybe unbutton your jacket, take a minute, relax all your sphincters. Seriously.
You're so right.
Just relax. We're just chatting. You can edit this. I'm going to take my sweater off too because I'm hot. Here's an idea of asking you. When you thought of this like big podcast thing,
Yeah.
in your head, what did you want to kind of do? You didn't want to do it by yourself.
No.
Right. So why? You needed someone to ask you questions.
I think the primary thing was what we were talking about earlier, where I didn't feel like I was an expert. You know? I can't just get on a mic and start talking about stuff. I mean, we both know things, but
Right.
I felt like the way I look at it and the way I look at As Woo As You Want, at least from the beginning, I feel like we talked about this, was I feel like I'm coming from a religious, philosophical, maybe more like Western intellectual type of view,
Okay.
like with like splashes of Eastern stuff.
Okay.
And you have more of like an in the best way possible, like witchy, hands-on, kind of practical, occultish approach.
Yeah. Sort of. I mean, I think part of my background of my like getting into this vibe of all this stuff is that from a very young age, or maybe, when I was in like high school, my mom was very into these ideas. Like she would read books that were channeled by mediums on like the nature of reality and like go to, have her psychics or like meditate. Like, and so from a really young age, this was like very normal to me. And it's interesting that now at 35, everybody's kind of thinking this is normal now, which is an interesting place to be in society for me. Like when I was younger, I don't think I would ever talk about this stuff with like my friends. I would be like, so like, have you heard of the law of creation or like what you attract, because that would be so fucking weird. To say to like a 16-year-old, who's like smoking pot or like drinking beer, like that wasn't cool.
No.
So maybe that's why I'm a little bit more like whatever, loose about this.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because it's not a rational thing. Spiritual ideas like meditating, like creating your own reality, like you have to think about it in a way that isn't super logical. Because it defies the logic that we grew up in. Like,
totally.
We're not supposed to know these things.
This is such a great segue to the continuing my biography.
What do you mean?
I'll tell you.
Tell me.
So exactly what you're saying. As I grew up, I got really into philosophy. And I actually went to college. I went to Boston University. I studied sociology, but I had one class where we studied Ludwig Wittgenstein, who was a mid-20th century philosopher. And that class actually propelled me into wanting to go into grad school. And I went and got my master's degree in philosophy.
Did you really?
Did you not know that?
Did you know the news that I also majored in philosophy in college? I was terrible at it. I was so bad at writing those papers. I think this could be the definition of the two of us.
Oh my God.
I studied philosophy, but I just couldn't write it the way they wanted me to. And you probably were like a baller at it. My favorite philosophy class was philosophy of the mind.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I'm not going to be able to be like,
Oh my God.
did you not know this?
We did not know this.
Yeah, this is a real story.
This is amazing.
Yeah. Dirk Paraboom was my teacher. I don't know.
In college.
Yeah, Dirk Paraboom. He actually wrote my referral letter to go to acupuncture school. I doubt he remembered me. UVM, it's like a giant school.
That's so crazy.
Yeah, he was super cool.
Wow.
Yeah. Philosophy of the mind.
Philosophy, yeah. Yeah. Yes. So
that was your jump off point.
Well, that was my jump off point. And like I said, I was always really into I'm obsessed with existence. Why are we here? What is going on? Like, we're born and then we die? I don't get it. Like, it doesn't make sense to me. I've been obsessed with it forever. Why do we all sleep? What is sleep? What is sleep? We all sleep. That's weird.
Well,
we just, like, all just shut down.
Well, we don't, though.
No, I know.
But I just wanted to say that.
Yeah. I know, too.
I know.
I'm being hypothetical. I'm trying to, like, channel my younger self.
Yeah, like, why do we sleep? That makes no sense.
We're definitely going to have a sleep episode.
We should have a dream episode. Ooh.
Yes.
That's good.
Yeah.
Stay tuned for that.
Yeah, stay tuned. So all these things just completely... I just wanted to know more. I wanted to understand. And so I went to grad school and for philosophy at University of Chicago. Well, I wanted to study Wittgenstein because I was really into...
What's his vibe?
Well, that's a great question.
Yeah.
This is going to get really nerdy.
I'm interested. So is everyone else.
Yeah. So Wittgenstein, I would say, was actually co-opted by analytic philosophy. So current Western philosophy is split between analytic and continental.
Okay.
Analytic is based more in logic and language.
Right.
And continental is more based in... It kind of gets more woo-woo. I mean, that's your, like, Nietzsche and your Foucault.
What's the ghosts in the machine thing? No? Do you not know what I'm talking about? Maybe that's something different. I don't know.
It sounds like some gestalt that
but that would be continental, probably.
I don't know. I have to look it up.
I mean, a lot of philosophy that I remember reading about is, like, really depressing. Because it just boils... I'm sorry, is that terrible to say to you?
No, it was so depressing.
It's so sad. There's a lot of it is like, well, we're just machines.
And that's why I hated analytic philosophy.
But that's what you did. No, that's not who the guy was.
Well, no, I always felt he was more... I mean, he was Austrian. And kind of like his predecessor is Bertrand Russell, who was the father of the philosophy of language and the father of analytic philosophy. But Wittgenstein took the whole thing into a whole other direction. Anyway.
Oh, right. Getting back
philosophy.
To philosophy.
We can talk about that. I'm not currently well read, but this was when I was 24, and about midway through that year, as I mentioned earlier, I was doing a master's. It was at University of Chicago, and they do it's a year-long master's program. And about halfway in, I just knew that this wasn't the right thing for me. And I had been connected with this woman who I'm going to be talking about a lot on this podcast.
Oh, your fave. You love
I
her.
consider her, like, she probably would not accept the term guru, but I will say guru, because I think that she showed me my own inner divinity and pointed me to the intuitive knowledge that everyone has. And it's so ironic. I think irony is going to be coming up a lot in this podcast too. I feel like the deepest truths are paradoxes and ironies.
Example.
What I'm about to say.
Okay.
So, in grad school, like I said, about halfway through, I really didn't want to do it. I would say it was almost like the beginning of my Saturn return. Even though it's 24 is a little early, but, you know, it's like revving up. And want to do it anymore, and I didn't know what I wanted to do with my life. And we were connected with this woman. Her name is Tosha Silver, Toshasilver. You will be hearing about her a lot. Probably. She's definitely one of my cornerstones. She was still doing readings at the time. Now she just is a writer and teacher.
Where does she live? In Chicago?
The Bay Area.
Really?
Yeah. So the crazy thing, I'll give you the little Tosha story, is we are connected, our family's connected with her through my mom had a work colleague who told her about her. And it's okay.
Sorry.
Celine's drinking water. I know, I was trying to be, like, careful, too. I have to loosen the fuck up.
You're still not loose? You seem so much better.
You know what it is?
What's wrong?
Now I feel like we're talking. I feel like this is all like scripted bullshit I'm doing right now.
But you're like listening. I'm interested to know, because it's interesting to see how people began.
Yeah. See, I feel like this episode, hopefully you'll keep listening, but like
we can
it
just
feels
edit.
scripted, and I feel like the next one's going to be more natural because we're just going to start talking. This one, I feel like we have to give our like fucking elevator speech or life speech.
We don't have to.
Yeah.
Like, you know, we don't have to talk about how we got to where we are. Well, I only mention it because sometimes it's, you know, important.
Okay. Oh my God, my brain is exploding because I feel like this is all tying together.
Okay, here we go.
Yeah. So,
you're just talking to me. Think about that.
Yeah. So basically, Tosha, my mom, I don't know, she got a reading from Tosha. I don't know, it must have been somewhere in the 90s, and was just like kind of blown away by her intuitive abilities. She read her natal chart and
so
did
your mom
tarot.
is kind of a witchy lady?
She's a little open. She's
That's
open.
pretty
She's
open.
very spiritually open.
So 90s, you were what, a teenager?
You
were in your teens, maybe.
Yeah.
College.
Yeah. No. And I was very skeptical.
Oh, twist.
I was a hardcore,
See, this is why we have to talk about
skeptical, like typical.
You were a philosophy major.
Yeah. Like, no, that's
nightmare.
Not real. I hate.
No, we would not have been friends.
I would not be friends with myself. At all. Didn't believe in astrology, didn't believe in any of it. I thought it was all bullshit.
See, I think that's really important to talk about.
Yeah.
You know, like that's everybody. The majority of people are like,
so right.
Bullshit.
I know.
So, reading with her, but then, so your families know each other? I didn't know you knew. Oh, your mom had a reading.
Well, my mom got a reading first, and then actually my dad got a reading, my sister got a reading. So my family's open. Yeah. They are open.
Okay.
And thank God they're open. I love you guys. I know you're listening. But I didn't get a reading.
Oh,
I didn't get a reading when I was younger. I was like, fuck that shit. This is bullshit.
Oh my God.
Yeah. And the last time my mom got a reading around the time or like before I went to grad school, and Tosha, which she said to my mom, she was like, I don't usually do this, but I feel like your son could really like use a reading. Like, I feel called to like ask him to call me.
Right.
And she at the time I was dating this girl, and my mom never talked about me more than just like, he's my son to Tosha. And Tosha was like, let me, I'm getting some like information about Jeremiah and like his current situation, and I'm going to talk about him for about 10 minutes. And if you want, feel free to play this back to him. So she used to record her sessions. And so my mom, after the reading, was like, I know you're not into this stuff, but Tosha talked about you for about 10 minutes, and she said that if you want, you should listen, or you could listen, if you're open.
before you went to grad school? Or was this during the time
That's
that
a good question.
you were like, I'm confused?
I think this was during grad school.
Also,
I think this
what
was
does
like Thanksgiving.
Tosha do? Does she read cards? Does she like, is she more of like a psychic energy connector?
So she is a very strong intuitive.
Okay. Is that like the proper term for psychic?
I don't know.
I feel like psychic is a bad word
It's
now.
so stigmatized. I
know.
don't. Yeah.
Intuitive. I think that's a better word.
Intuitive astrologer. And she also would read tarot.
Okay.
So like during calls, she would. Your first call with her, she doesn't do calls anymore. Tosha, if you're listening, I'm sorry. I know you don't do calls anymore. Don't try and get calls from her, but get all of her books. And like I said, I'm going to be talking about her a lot because, again, she is really important to my journey and my story. But, yeah, intuitive.
Okay.
Intuitive, yeah. So I think this was like Thanksgiving 2007.
And then did you just leave school?
No. So what happened is I was like, you know what? Fine. I'll listen to this crazy woman. Let's hear what she has to say. You know, in the back of my head, like, I'm in philosophy school. This is bullshit. Like, whatever.
Right.
And my mom played me the cassette. It was still a cassette.
Delightful.
It was like I was like listening on a Walkman. She played me back this section. And I was just like,
boom.
Who is this person? Mom.
What is this?
What? I was like, how much have you told her about? I was like, you definitely like said a lot of stuff about it. And my mom was like, Jeremiah, she knows like your age and that you're dating someone. That's it.
I love that.
And Tosha was talking about me, my relationship with my girlfriend at the time, you know, like all these things where I was like, she's in my fucking head. What? Like, how?
Well,
So what happened, fast forward like 2 months, that girl and I, we broke up. I was in a real funk, you know, girlfriend gone. It was the dead of cold in Chicago. I don't know what the fuck I'm doing with my life. Oh my God. I don't know if you ever really know, but maybe.
I think you get better.
You get better. Yeah.
Or you get in little ruts.
Yeah, it was a rut. It was definitely a rut.
Sounds like a rut.
Yeah. And so I think it was January or February of 2008 that I was like, you know what? Fuck it. I'm just going to call this woman. I don't know.
Oh, you called her in the rut.
I called her.
And it was like an aha moment?
Yeah.
So you've been in touch with her for like 11 years. Wow.
Yeah. I sent her an email around Rosh Hashanah just thanking her because it'd been, over 10 years.
But she doesn't practice anymore? Or she has books?
So now she has like an online community where she teaches, and she's a published author. She's written a number of books. She has like cards. She has a couple of cards series that are really cool.
Like decks?
Decks, yeah. Yeah.
For everyone else, I've never heard of this person. I don't know anything about her.
I'm like an acolyte.
But that's what's cool about it.
Yeah. Yeah. And so, I mean, and that's the end of my story, everyone. But this is what I wanted to say, relating back to everything that's happening here. And I think what's happening literally in this recording is you can't think.
Yeah. You can't overthink this.
I realized this a few years after grad school, but your mind is limited in its knowledge, or not limited, but it accesses knowledge in a different way than your intuition.
Right. If you don't turn on the different parts of your brain. Meaning, we only use like what? I don't know the specific number.
Like 10%, right?
Right. So that's like 90% of our brain. What else is it doing?
Yeah.
So I think the more you tap into woo-woo stuff, you kind of activate more percentage of your brain so that you can get outside of this like rational, overthinking, black and white, analytic life.
Yeah.
Or putting so much pressure on yourself.
Well, also, like, the way I look at it is, like, for me, this really became clear when I started my meditation practice a few years ago. I was trying to remember when I did. I wanted to put a number on it for people.
A meditation?
Yeah.
I feel like it's been a while, but I don't know because I actually haven't known you that long.
Yeah, I know.
Wait, have we though? I don't know. I actually remember when I first met you at one of our, I don't know, ocean friends. We have this group of people that we just go to the beach with and then we eat like tacos after. And I remember sitting with you at the Commodore, which is a bar in Brooklyn.
Yeah.
And you talked to me about how you went to a sweat lodge in like Sedona with Melissa, his girlfriend. And I remember being like, oh my God, he knows what's up. And being so psyched.
Was it the Integratron?
Yes. Yes.
In Joshua Tree, yeah.
Anyway, that was just it was a nice moment,
Aww.
you know?
Aww.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
anyway, I just wanted to, I'm going to wrap up my bio section because I want to get to Celine with just saying that. And I think it's so funny because, like, everything that's occurred on this podcast is me. So me.
yeah.
Like, thinking. I'm like, thinking
Having to
too
take
hard.
breaks and being like, I can't. And I'm like, it's okay. You can do
Yeah. But that's why I love woo stuff because it's just another aspect of who you are. And when I started my meditation practice, it just opened up new doors of knowledge and understanding that was really what I wanted from philosophy.
Yeah. Well, you were just reading the wrong stuff.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
Not the wrong stuff, but I think there's a lot of philosophy that can be very esoteric and inclusive and not depressing.
Yeah.
I think there's this guy named John Mills.
Uh-huh.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Is he the one that said that everything dies and then gets reabsorbed into everything else? Every particle. I took this philosophy class in college from a rabbi. And we read all this sort of like esoteric philosophy. And I think that was one of the I don't know. Maybe I have to double check. But the idea was that like everything, all physical particles, whether it's like a human, a plant, or whatever, dies and then gets reabsorbed. So you can have all the particles from everything else too.
Yeah.
So we could have like plants, animals, stuff. I don't know. It was I think it's called the living theory or something. Actually, I'm not really sure. I shouldn't.
Someone right now is on Google. Like,
and I'm like, you idiot.
Celine doesn't know shit.
What are they talking about? I don't know what it's called.
Anyway. I want to stop talking. I want to let Celine talk now.
Yes.
So wait, okay, so let's,
Yes.
I gotta make sure it's conversation. You know what's weird about this?
What? I don't feel weird. I don't know why you feel weird.
I know.
Is it the way we're sitting? Is it too formal?
No,
Okay.
I just think I like was thinking about it so much.
Yeah, okay.
That now that we're here, I'm like, oh, it's gotta be this and it's gotta be that. And like it's just gonna be what it is gonna be.
Of you.
And I think there's a part of me that I really want to be open in this, by the way. Like I want to work through shit in this.
I kind of do too.
Yeah. So like for me one thing is what were we talking about? I think I have this desire to like want it to be perfect.
Oh, Jared.
And I know it's not going to be that.
It's not going to be that at all.
And I'm letting it go. I've let it go.
I mean, the news is we're not professional podcast people. We're not even, we don't like
Did you not realize that?
You didn't, we don't give like talks about this stuff. So I think it's like, growing experience.
Oh, yeah. Well, yeah, I think for me it's just...
I get what you're saying.
It's just realizing that we're talking to each other and we're also talking to an audience.
See, I'm not thinking about that.
Yeah.
And that makes me feel way more free.
Good. I'm trapped. No, I'm kidding.
If you just, I think
No, I'm good.
yeah.
I'm good. I feel better.
You
I
feel
honestly,
better?
like, I had to get that,
needed to.
whatever that was for people, that bio, I needed to get that the hell out of my system so I can move forward. So I feel good now.
Good.
Yeah.
I'm glad.
Yeah. So Celine.
So me, where do I come from? Who am
my
I?
God.
I'm a triple Capricorn. FYI, everyone knows that's insane. But I think I'm pretty fun, which is crazy.
You are.
Yeah, it's a weird thing. So I just grew up in a home that woo-woo was kind of the baseline. My mom, though, was actually kind of like a moonbeam hippie wasp, if that makes sense. She could talk to you about energies and, philosophies of, different like mediums or ideas of religion, but then, and meditated and had crystals, but then could also go to like a country club and have a glass of Chardonnay.
Yeah.
So interesting dynamic. My dad, kind of a suit with like a very open heart. So they together as like, my mom would help my dad with business and they would do like focus wheels together. And
Wait, what?
Focus wheels.
What's that?
Focus wheels are when you sit down and you're trying to like create a new idea or get like a little clarity on something. So you just draw a big circle on a piece of paper and then around it, you kind of write down, your thoughts until they kind of consolidate into one focused goal. So in a really kind of easy way, like if you're like, I don't know what to do with my job. I don't know what kind of job I want if you're trying to figure that out. So you sit down, have the circle, and then around the circle, you're like, okay, I want to work 9 to 5. Or no, I don't. I want to create my own hours. But I want to see people. I want to have health insurance or, I want an easy commute. And so you kind of get as specific around the idea of what seems really nice to you. And by the end, usually you'll come up with like a sentence that's very clear on what you want. And so you can use that in kind of an intention practice.
I totally want to do this.
Yeah, focus wheels.
Focus wheel.
So I was doing focus wheels when I was like 16. And it was, to
What?
me, it was... But as a side note, I've had a really normal life. Like I've had hard stuff happen. Like, I still operated within the world that was what everyone else was doing. It's just that sometimes if I had a cold, I would go to a Reiki person. But if I was really sick, I would obviously take medicine. But,
yeah,
so that was like my home.
Yeah.
And then college, UVM, art major, and philosophy major. And I was really bad at writing papers. But the ideas were really interesting. I was like, philosophy, obviously. I'm always thinking about what's going on, why we are here, why the world is the way it is, or why more people aren't awake,
Yeah.
And then, I guess my Tosha is 2 people. Either Jane Roberts, who was the creator and not the creator, but like the enabler of the Seth material, which came out in the 70s, which is really heady shit.
A side note.
Yeah.
Celine turned me on to Seth, maybe like 6 months ago.
Yeah.
It was pretty recent. And, oh no, it wasn't 6. It was, I think it was, whatever, almost a year ago. Anyway, I devoured the first book.
Which one did I give you? The Nature of Reality?
No, the Eternal Validity of the Soul.
So that's me at like 16.
Celine, she gives me this book, or she recommends this book, and I read it, and I'm 35 years old, and it's exploding my mind, and I'm like, you knew about this at 16? Like,
Yeah.
this is why you need to be part of this
I
podcast. Like,
know.
oh my God.
But a lot of the ideas and stuff I didn't really practice. I think that is something to note. Like I didn't set intentions always. I didn't meditate always. You know, I did like yoga. I journaled, but like I really started practicing what I preach per se, like probably the last like 7 years or so. Like conscious creation, like being intentional about what I'm doing. And then I think over the last like 2 years, big time.
Yeah.
And
why? What changed?
to be honest, I was just tired of being bummed out and feeling like, oh man, life is so hard.
Yeah.
Everything's happening to me and I don't have any control over it. Or like, you know, I was sick of myself. And then I was like, this is I want to say choice. And I know that's a little tough to hear if you're in a bad spot or
yeah,
you're depressed. Like, but you know, on some, I don't mean like you're conscious, like waking every day, but
Yeah.
on some level, like all of our circumstances, we've agreed to as a choice
yeah,
to learn something, to grow or not. And like, you can choose what you want to do with it. You know, I also use this a lot. This is heavy, but as my mom had cancer and died of breast cancer almost 6 years ago. And, you know, going through that process with someone who's spiritually like awake, there was no fear on her end, you know, like there wasn't much of that. And she was very much like, this is my journey and my choice. And I do think like when she died, that was kind of her, that was what she wanted to happen, which is crazy to say. I know. But
No.
so then after that, I think that really propelled me to like, because I could have been really bummed out and depressed and like use that as a way to just not evolve. And that's fine if you do. That's totally fine. But I just didn't want to live that way.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like I just rambled.
No, that was amazing. And that's something that I definitely want to dive into. One podcast that I think he'll be coming up a lot too, but I literally started listening to this guy, Shaman Durek. So if you're listening to this right now and you're like, this is too lightweight for me, this isn't woo-woo enough, Shaman Durek, D-U-R-E-K. That dude is basically Seth right now. Like the guy, when he talks, I'm like, my brain explodes.
Really?
Yeah.
Where is he from? Where is he doing
New
them?
Orleans. He's a third generation like shaman healer. Like his family goes back from West Africa and then Haiti and then New Orleans, and like his story is just unbelievable.
I love that.
Yeah.
Oh, also Bashar I listened to a lot. I saw Bashar. Bashar is an alien.
We are going to get deep into this stuff.
Daryl Hannah channels Bashar, and Bashar is I think it's like in our history or our future, he is a combination of the Greys, which are an alien life being, and then eventually, according to Bashar, we mesh, humans and Greys, and become this kind of like molded being, and Bashar is like a future generation of that.
Yeah.
Super weird stuff, but cool. Talks a lot about like sacred geometry and using that in meditations, and very, very direct. Mm-hmm. There's no sugarcoating
like
about it.
Spirit is just direct.
Bashar?
Just in general.
Some of them, but like Abraham and Hicks.
Yeah.
Abraham is a very gentle, and they're like very popular.
That's true.
Bashar is like, you're doing it wrong. Be better. And you're like, okay.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's me.
Awesome.
Right?
Yeah. And what do you do now, Celine?
Currently, I am an acupuncturist, and I think that makes a lot of sense for who I am.
Why?
Because I do really like to enable people to get to a place of healing, whether that's like a physical pain or emotional stuff, and I've never been scared of emotions, right? Like, people cry in front of me all the time. Love it. And I think there's some people that makes them uncomfortable, emotions. And I think if you're going to be any kind of healer, you kind of have to be down with that, like, emotional side. So that's what I do now.
Yeah.
I hope to keep doing it. Maybe add some different things in. And what do you do now?
Well, we'll see what happens with this podcast.
Imagine. See, maybe what's happening is you're coming from a place of the ego.
Me?
Well, with you wanting it to be perfect.
Of course.
Oh.
I know. I know exactly what's happening.
Oh.
Yeah. I want it to be good. I want people to enjoy it. And
me too.
And I want I hope this didn't come across as rambling.
Both of us?
Yeah, both of us.
I mean, it might
you didn't
have.
sound. I felt like I was rambling the whole time, but
No, you gave a clear, concise.
Thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
Yeah. The one other thing I wanted to say that I was thinking about is I feel like I finally calmed down.
Right now?
Yeah. But I feel like I'm being stopped from saying what I wanted to say, so I'm not going to say it.
What? What?
Yeah.
Really?
I don't know.
That's kind of a cliffhanger.
On the next
You're like,
podcast,
find out what I want to
say.
I think the beginnings of stuff are always weird.
Oh, yeah.
So I think this is a weird moment.
It's a weird moment.
It's
and
unstructured.
Yeah.
It's a little loosey-goosey.
Yeah.
We've talked about a lot of random shit.
Well, the Talmud,
what?
I'll wear my Jewish hat. The Talmud,
Okay.
which is part of the written rabbinical Jewish tradition,
Okay.
has a very famous quote that says, "The beginnings are the hardest."
Well, that's the truth.
Yeah.
Though I feel being like a baby is not very hard.
No, that's when you're the most real.
Yeah.
Then you get conditioned out of it. We'll talk about that too. We should talk about babies.
Like their little spirits.
They're just so pure.
They really are. They're sort of terrifying though.
Yeah. They're basically
Little kids are
aliens.
also kind of scary.
Yeah.
They'll like tell you like you look horrible today and you're like, "What?" There's no like
no filter.
None whatsoever.
Yeah.
So
So what do I do?
Oh,
I'll
yeah.
let you know
What do you do?
So I am a music and video producer, and we're actually recording this podcast at the studio that is mine.
Lots of plants.
A production studio called PS379. You can check it out at ps379studio.com. Yes, it's not a real public school to take on a public school. And yeah, but I love woo stuff, and I'm just so excited to be doing that. Like, I want to get on to the next episode. Like, let's record.
I mean, we
now.
could.
Should we?
I mean, maybe if you feel a little looser.
Okay. Should we just keep recording?
Should we, or do you want to take a minute?
All right, we'll take a minute.
Let's take a minute, have some water.
Okay.
But then, should we end this one?
Yeah. I love this. People are going to be like, they don't know
They're
what.
like, this is horrible. What is this nonsense bullshit?
Yeah.
Palm sweating, like awkward.
Who are these no names?
Who are these people? I mean, it's just going to be our friends.
Yeah.
And family. And then we're going to put it all over social media.
Right.
So nervous.
Okay. Well, let's sign off.
Let's have a sign off. So much pressure.
Oh, do you want to do like
I don't know. We should have talked about this before. No.
Okay. Well, no.
What? If you have something, go.
Yeah. Sure.
Oh.
Celine had this idea. We have our own little friend group. We do a meditation club. You have to pick a date, by the way.
Yep, we do.
And she was like, it'd be cool if maybe at the end of every episode we do like a little thing, a practice, something. So I'm going to do like a take on, I'll do the like little breathing thing. So this
Okay.
is something that I learned from, it's called The Art of Living. I'm forgetting the guru who taught it and brought it to the Western world.
Is it a woman?
I don't remember.
Did I just buy this book?
It's like a program called The Art of Living.
Okay, keep going.
Maybe.
Sorry.
Anyway, they teach you a bunch of different meditation techniques, and literally the first technique is this breathing technique. So maybe I'll teach that, and then we
Okay.
can sign off.
Okay.
So as everyone knows, breathing is very important for your body. I probably wasn't breathing deeply or calmly enough through that whole episode, but I'm going to teach you now how to calm yourself. So what you do is you get into like a nice upright position. You have to have full access to your lungs, and you're going to hold your fists by your shoulders. And yeah, it's almost like you're about to like do like a bench press or something. And when you inhale, you're going to raise your arms up, and when you exhale, you're going to bring your arms down. And you're going to do that 10 to 20 times. And what that is going to do is it's going to recycle just the energy and the breath in your body. So, you know, you're always kind of, you're eating things. If you live in New York or another city, you got toxins in your body. And so this is just like a really nice way of like immediately flushing out all the crap in your system and bringing in clean energy, clean air. So we'll do that right now.
Okay.
Yeah. Ready? Mm-hmm. Inhale. Exhale. Bring those arms down. Inhale. Bring your arms up. Exhale. Brings your arms down. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. And exhale. And it's just like, as soon as you do it, it's like,
I feel so much better.
just feel like relaxed.
Yeah. I think that each time we do a podcast, we'll do a new little breathing thing. I have one to talk about next time.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Stay tuned.
Stay tuned.
Episode 2, Celine will be teaching her breathing technique.
Hopefully.
Love you guys.
Bye.